What's up, everyone? It's me, Jacob, your personal rank 1 healer with you today. And recently I coached two of my real life buddies from 0 experience both to 2100 CR in 2s. There will be a series coming up of me trying to get them gladiator in 3s together with me being their healer. But this video is going to be about me helping one of them, Lucio, on his demon hunter. He starts off at 30,000 HP, about 1600 MMR, going all the way through to 2100 CR, at which point he is pretty geared at the end of this video. But basically, this is to show you guys that with some coaching and just focusing on the right things, you yourself can also climb rating very quickly. This session, or this series of sessions, took place over the course of less than about 2 weeks, 3 to 4 arena sessions, about 6 hours apiece of me just playing with Lucio, teaching him the game, and helping him to get better. So you guys can watch as he gets better throughout this video. I'll be commentating on the games, and we'll get into it. Okay, to start off this video, we'll be playing Resto Shaman Demon Hunter with Lucio against Resto Shaman Warrior at about 1650 MMR. Lucio has about 31,000 HP. He's very, very fresh at this point, doesn't know what half the abilities do, and I'll just show you how the game pans out. So I will be playing the Earth Elemental legendary that gives it the earthquake to help me do a lot of damage to assist Lucio, since his damage is extremely low at this point. He just starts off with an end cap on the warrior. I just capstun him off of that. Wind shear the end of that hex because I'm not really sure if he's going to kick it at this point. Getting some really good damage on this Resto Shaman, running him down with my Earth LE, trying to help Lucio get as much pressure as we can. Lucio sends the hunt over at the healer. It looks like I trimmer that warrior fear there that he didn't manage to get on me. I'm just trying to do as much as I possibly can. It looks like we're just trying to get some lava bursts out. The warrior's training me with Avatar. I'm being very, very offensive at this point because that's the only way that we're going to kill anything. So we're just getting our wind shears. He encaps there on the heal right when I kicked, and it broke with his imprison. The shaman uses his wall here. The shaman's also an earthen totem. He's probably not going to die soon. He has a lot of damage mitigation rolling out. Lucio's taking a lot of damage here. I'm going for some quick casts. The Resto Shaman doesn't have a wind shear available there, so I got some off. The shaman used grounding totem to try to live, and we just took him out. So this first game kind of is just showing you the strat, like the way that I'm kind of helping him to get kills. It's 1650 MMR. We're actually out damaging Lucio at this point. This is not how the whole video is going to be, I promise you. He's definitely going to start to pull more weight, and I will start pulling less weight. I'm not going to be playing my Resto Shaman the whole time, trying to make up for his lack of gear to do damage with the Earth Hell and the Lava Bursts. But later on, it's mostly going to be just Lucio with all the damage. So let's move on to the next game. Alright, boys, so this game is going to be versus the Resto Shaman Ret Paladin. These are the talents that I will be taking here. Normally, I'd be taking Nature's Guardian versus a comp like this, but I will be taking the Graceful Spirit on this one just to give me more uptime on my Spirit Walker's Grace to be able to move while casting Lava Burst, maybe help me be extra offensive to make up for Lucio's lack of gear. The 30,000 HP is really, really hard to get kills with. So I'm going to play a little bit more offensive and use this Graceful Spirit, as well as Sky Fury Totem, Ancestral Gift, and Grounding Totem. The rest is pretty straightforward, standard stuff. And anyways, we'll get into the game. Okay, so you'll notice this Ret Paladin is also fully geared. It's got about the same gear as me. The Resto Shaman has about 5k more than Lucio. The gear difference is honestly favored in their side, so just to show you guys, I'm not just rolling under-geared people. So we're just going to be sending Lucio in on the Resto Shaman because there's no way that he is going to go toe-to-toe with a 41,000 almost HP Ret Paladin. As you'll see, Lucio stuns the healer trinkets, and then he restuns him instantly with a Chaos Nova. This is probably not the best thing to do, but I'm just kind of letting him get a feel for the game. The half stuns are going to be happening pretty often throughout these series. I try to teach him as time goes on. He definitely improves at it, understanding not to DR stuns and things like that. But either way, we force the wall there. I get the kick on my Fleshcraft from the Paladin. Lucio uses Blur here. The Ret Paladin's popping wings. He could easily one-shot both of us through his wings. I use my wall here, Astral Shift. Try to keep myself alive. I also have Earthen Totem down for some damage mitigation on this Ret Paladin's wings. Thankfully, he's not going Lucio, who he probably would one-shot. I get kicked on Lava Burst, which actually helps me to survive. I can now do some other things. I cap the Ret Paladin into a Hex just to force the healer to come back and dispel him. We're still pumping the healer. The Earth Ellie is still up for about 20 seconds. It's just rooted away from the healer at this moment. And the Earth Ellie is the source of all of our power at this point in time from how it feels. But either way, Lucio's getting chunked. I'm trying to keep him alive. I don't have Aura Mastery. I fake both kicks there with that cast. Or Lucio actually ate one of the kicks with I-Beam, I believe. We're still just hard pressuring this Resto Shaman, getting my Lava Burst in. The Ret Paladin's doing some off heals. We force the Spirit Link Totem. I hex the Ret Paladin. He's forced to bubble and heal his Resto Shaman. Just trying to take out the healer. Wind Shear that cast, just Omega pressuring him and not letting him get any breathing room. So, yeah, these are the 1600 games. It's a lot of me just running down healers with Lucio. This one was actually 1720. Lucio's damage actually wasn't that bad this game. He did almost as much as the Ret Paladin. I did a little bit. Look, their Shaman actually managed to do a decent amount of damage as well. I think he may have had the Earth Ellie also. That's probably where my Earth Ellie was. I didn't even notice just now going through. But either way, we'll move on to the next set of games. I think I play a different healer in these next set of games. So we'll jump over to that. Okay, guys. So this was Lucio's, one of his earlier tastes of the Affliction Warlock Holy Priest combo that the melee out there definitely don't enjoy playing versus. The permanent corruption slow always sitting on you, having to deal with that on the biggest most annoying map, one of the biggest, most annoying maps, probably top 2, Robodrome. So these are the talents that I'm playing, just to give you guys a peek at that if you want to pause the video and check it out. Again, I'm just going to be trying to be as offensive as possible. I don't like to run Nature's Guardian into any priests, because if they manage to get a mind games off on me while I'm in crowd control, then the Nature's Guardian will proc, and it could just kill me right then and there. So I don't take it into priests very often times, and these are the talents that I will be running. At this point in time, as you guys notice, Lucio has about 32,000 health. We've gotten a little bit of gear. We're a little bit higher in MMR. And yeah, just to show you guys. But anyway, this is a 43,000 HP Aflock, 39,000 HP Holy Priest. They're just going to pull Lucio out into the open, try to kite him as much as possible. I Wind Shear the healer, dropped a capstone on him, use my Aura Mastery to hex the healer. Lucio just sends his damage with his 32,000 health. We put our Earth Ellie out, get some Lava Bursts in, doing as much damage as we can. Right here, the Warlock's just using some peels. We got his BM Trinket. It falls off right here. We're getting kind of pulled out into the open where we're about to start eating a lot of dots. I'm just trying to keep my Flame Shocks up, getting my Lava Bursts out. The Warlock was going to fear there. Lucio ended up stopping it with a stun, and to which the Warlock responded with Trinketing. So it's really good on Lucio. Lucio ends up kicking that next cast as well. I'm just using my Fleshcraft there, thinking that I might get coiled or feared or something. He uses his kick on it, and which leaves me open to be able to cast some heals. Lucio is forced to use a Blur here. He gets coiled. We get out of it. Use the Chaos Nova on the Warlock to stop some of the damage coming in. He accidentally incapped the Warlock there with Imprison. That stuff like that is happening a lot at this point. Still very early stages for Lucio, although he's doing a very good job for how long he's been playing the game. I'm just going to use my Wind Shear on the Rapture to mitigate some damage, try to make this Warlock's life a little bit more miserable. The priest uses his mind games on me there, and I'm able to just dispel it freely because the warlock does not have unstable affliction on me. I pop Ascendance here to keep us offensive. Use my wind shear on the fear that the warlock was casting there, only to get feared by the priest. Probably not the best play by me. If I knew I was going to get feared there, then I shouldn't have wind sheared that other fear. This warlock is casting a lot of malefic raptures there, so I'm just going to use my aura mastery to spam out some heals, and also to peek a little hex out on the healer. The reason I didn't dispel Lucio there is probably because I thought there was an unstable affliction on him. I'm not really sure. He did end up sitting that CC. If you notice, Lucio does do the half stun on the warlock. A lot of this is what I'm trying to teach him. One of the biggest things is to watch your DRs on Gladius. I still don't think he knows at this point how to do that. Although I am trying to explain it to him as time goes on. In the later sessions, he starts to get better at it. And I advise all of you guys, if you're new, definitely try to learn how to use Gladius so you're not using half stuns randomly on people like this. You will get way more CC throughout the game if you're getting full stuns every single time. Full imprisons, full incaps, full fears, polys, whatever class you are. Anyways, I dispelled the mind games off of Lucio. This warlock is kiting. Lucio tried hunting the warlock there, and it totally got immuned because it went into the wall with the Z axis. So, yeah, just a funny little play there. The warlock does have unstable affliction on both of us here. It's not really a good sign for us. This is a very annoying comp to deal with. They have the unstable afflictions out, so it makes it very annoying to try to dispel things. And but anyways, I just use the grounding there to try to stop a cast or two, get a dispel on Lucio, keep us offensive. I'm scared of getting CS'd by this warlock, is why you see me faking these casts so much on my heals. And we are falling behind more and more as the game's going on. I use my Aura Mastery there to get a heal out and try to hex the healer. The warlock uses his BM trinket here. I need to get my earth shield back on Lucio, get the dispel on the mind games maybe, but I do not have a dispel available at that point because I already dispelled. I noticed the warlock uses his dark soul cooldown here. That needs to get purged off. This is his biggest offensive cooldown. Looks like I'm going for a Flushcraft before I go for anything else. Trying to purge that dark soul off though. Now that I have a couple globals, we get it off. It was almost over, but we ended up getting it off before it fell off. Use my earthen there. The warlock's kiting Lucio out of the earthen totem. I probably should be slowing the warlock to make it harder for him to exit that earthen totem, but he's just using his ports to try to kite and do his thing. Lucio just running at him, trying to get in some damage. Use the stun on him with the hunt. Get some pressure with the eye beam. We force the wall from the warlock there. The healer looks like he is going a little bit. They're getting unstable affliction mind games on Lucio here. It's a very scary time for him. He uses his blur ability to try to mitigate some damage. He uses his imprison on the warlock again, only for it to break 1 second later. I notice the priest is drinking here. So I'm just pumping as much damage as I can, try to force him to stop drinking. We get a kick on the healer, drop a cap stun on the corner, try to get him, although he avoids it. Here I missed the Tremor Totem, trying to get Lucio's fear, but it didn't manage to hit him because of the range. I think it actually might have gotten his second fear though. Either way, we root the healer. We try to fake a death there from the healer with my Hex. He doesn't death, so I just cast a rehex and go for it. The healer ends up trinketing it. We keep the flame shock up on the warlock. He's using his Night Fae to try to kite Lucio. Lucio also uses his Night Fae to reconnect. We get a lava burst with a Sky Fury totem, and we take him out. So this is at 1800 MMR. This is the first game from this series, and I will be moving on to the next game in the next series. So here we go. Okay guys, so this game is going to be versus the Resto Druid Warrior on the other side. I will be playing Hpriest at this point in time. These are the talents that I will be playing as I usually play on Hpriest. I usually keep these talents without any change. But just to show you, if you want to pause it here to use the talents, if you are a Hpriest, then here you go. Either way, we'll be moving on. Okay, so something to take note of. Lucio is about 34k HP right now. We're trying to run at healers, taking advantage of this Resto Druid's health in this game, probably taking every edge we can get. The Resto Druid has about the same health as Lucio. The warrior's at about 37k HP. There's no way Lucio can ever go toe-to-toe with with a warrior that has the same or more gear than him. So we just have to go the healer. Anyways, we just run at him. I faded his Cyclone, feared him into Lucio's stun. We get the mind games on him. We force the bark skin. Lucio's forced the blur. The warrior's popping avatar on me. I'm forced to use Guardian. I bait his kick with my mind control, trying to door shadows away from the warrior towards the Resto Druid to try to get some pressure on him. This warrior's just running at me. Lucio running at the Resto Druid. Again, if Lucio tried to hit the warrior would win every time. So our only way to kill is to try to go the Resto Druid. Lucio stuns him out of form with the hunt. Very good by him. The warrior stuns Lucio to try to peel him. The warrior uses his intervene to mitigate some damage. The druid uses his iron bark. I'm just going to mind control the warrior off of Lucio so Lucio can stay offensive and mitigate as much damage as we can by just crowd controlling that warrior. He's going to go me now. I eat the kick with shadow once again. I can just heal myself however much I want. Just going to go for the half mind control. We get the reflect out of the way. I start casting the next one. Lucio actually has to blur because of the thorns killing him on the druid. I don't think he knows to purge at this point, to try to purge thorns. Or maybe he just got unlucky with all the hots on the druid. Anyways, I noticed Lucio's stunning the druid up, keeping the pressure going. We're half stunning him off that one stun, which I don't recommend. I'm trying to teach him not to do that. It does happen a lot, like I showed you guys before, but that's fine. That's a very, very beginner mistake. That's very common with a lot of people who are new to the game, understanding DRs and whatnot and how to use Gladius. Either way, we're just going to be trying to stay alive, stay offensive. Lucio ends up stunning the warrior here, which I am not too fond of, but I end up stunning the druid into a mind games. Since Lucio used to stun on the warrior, I might as well chastise the healer. We force his trinket there. Just trying to keep Lucio up. The warrior's chunking him. He uses the sharpened blade on him. It's really hard to heal through that. I door shadows to stay in range. I use my Will of the Forsaken to get out of that fear. Just mind control the warrior off of him once again, to which the warrior trinkets, and Lucio is forced to blur. Here we are very scared. Lucio's blur doesn't mean a whole lot. I feel like that Cyclone probably helped us a little bit on Lucio. I used the Guardian Spirit with the Serenity on him just to make him full health and one heal. The Guardian just boosting my heal. We're just going to be continuing this push onto the healer, getting the damage out, the mind games, the chastise, the big pumps. Lucio gets the hunt in with that go. We get the Shadow Word Death, and we get a huge go on the Resto Druid there at the end of that. This is almost 1900 MMR at this point. This is our second or third. This is probably our third big session with Lucio. I think there's about 4 total that we did that were very long grinds. So at this point, Lucio's improved a decent amount. And I'm just going to move on to the next games that are over 2k MMR. Lucio does have a little bit more gear in these next coming games. I'll be playing the Resto Druid with him. So at least we get some variety. We get to switch it up. And we'll get into those games right here, right now. Okay, so this game is going to be versus the Hpriest Feral Druid on the other side. I'll be playing my Resto Druid now. These are the talents that I will be running versus this comp. Got the Reactive Resin. It'll help me continue my rejuice, proc some extra heals, get Thorns just to mitigate some of the melee, maybe return some of the damage from the Feral Druid. But we will never be able to try to go the Feral Druid until high dampening possibly. But the healer is generally going to be the target while I try to CC the Feral Druid for Lucio to kill the healer, because the Feral Druid will probably be unkillable to Lucio. Either way, here we go. Something to also take note of is that I'm playing Flourish nowadays on Resto Druid. It seems to be really good. Instead of Germination, which I played the whole season pretty much, I recently started playing Flourish. This helps keep my Sin Ward up throughout the game. It's a lot of throughput healing, and it's really good for your mana because it resets your hots with free of cost. So on top of having that Verdant Infusion with your Swift Mend boosting your hots as well. Anyways, I'll be trying to open up with a Cyclone on the Feral Druid off of Lucio's double stun, which is very, very good play by him there. Gets the double stun in the opener. We get the clone onto the Feral. Then I hibernate the Feral to try to take advantage of him not paying attention. I get the hibernate on him. The healer gets a quick dispel though. Lucio did use the hunt in that first go. I get feared. I'm not dispelling Lucio's mind games because I need the globals to get big heals on him. We get that Iron Bark, full hots on him. I'm just going to be playing back a little bit. We get Thorns on the healer. Lucio purges it off. Very well done by him. If you notice, this Feral Druid has about 39k health with a stand buff. The Priest is also fully geared. Lucio's about 36k health. Anyways, we get the Bash clone onto the Feral Druid. Lucio stuns the healer. I press Fleshcraft here to try to immune some crowd control coming in on me. They use the Chastise Cyclone to CC me up, get pressure on Lucio. Very well done by Lucio. We get the Darkness here. We are in Discord together, so I am communicating to him when to use his defensive cooldowns. He did use his Darkness there. He gets a really insane double stun on them with the Chaos Nova, to which I Cyclone the Feral Druid off of that. Keep Lucio on the healer as much as possible. Keep this Feral Druid in combat, or in CC as much as possible. We get a hibernate on him there. The healer dispelled it instantly because he saw me casting the hibernate. I do throw... I'm trying to line of sight as much as possible. I get a re-stealth, get that stun on the Priest, force the trinket from him so that Lucio can keep running at him. He's trying to line of sight me as much as possible to pull me in. There, I try to wild charge the Lucio since it looked like the Priest was going to get a fear on me. Lucio does another half stun on the healer. I'm still trying to teach him not to do that. So you're still seeing that in our games, which is something that he's improving on every time. But I promise you guys it does matter a lot. So try not to DR your stuns. Here, we get a bash into a Cyclone on the Feral Druid. The Priest tried to grip him out of my range, but it was a little too slow. We get a reclone on him. Probably going to try to get a cheeky hibernate on him. I timed it a little bit too quickly, sadly, there, so it immuned into the Cyclone. They chastised me into a fear, but Lucio is actually in a clone, so that fear doesn't really help them very much. I'm able to just dispel the mind games, get my Sin Ward on myself, boost it with the Swiftmend, throw Thorns out. I am very okay here. I have Bark Skin up. I'm in bear form. I got full hots, Thorns. I have Flourish if I want to use it, which will keep me extra okay. I use my War Stomp clone on the Feral Druid just to get some free peels for myself. I use my Swiftmend to boost my heal hots again. I am not scared of this guy killing me whatsoever. I'm just sitting in bear form, keeping my hots up. I flourish there to continue the chain of my Sin Ward on myself, so I can just tank this Feral Druid and not have to use my Iron Bark. Lucio gets another crazy Chaos Nova. We're just cycloning the Feral Druid off that every single time, just to keep him in crowd control as much as possible, so Lucio has more uptime on their healer than they have on me. I pre-Iron Bark myself here, get full hots, just in case I get stunned by the Feral. I charge bash that mind control to keep Lucio going. I want him to just keep pumping the healer as much as possible throughout the game. Lucio stuns the Feral Druid there. I remember not being a big fan of the stun, but it's not a big deal. It's all good. I have full hots myself again. I have Thorns. This Feral Druid's trying to hit me with this bash, but I'm not worried about it. I just eat a kick for free because I'm not scared. Get it out of the way. I charge to the healer to fix my positioning to where I'm not across the map from Lucio. I get a full clone, or I could have full cloned the Feral there. I forgot that I had faked that kick already, but we're still okay. I have full hots. I have a Swiftmend to boost everything. We pre-bear form this Maim stun. I'm totally fine. I have Bark Skin in my back pocket if I want to use it. Although I just could War Stomp clone this Feral Druid instead of using anything else. Which is why it's good to use your War Stomp clone for peels often so that it comes back up later so you can do it again. This guy's just going to be trying to run me down, Thorns myself, hiding behind the pillar so that the Priest can't purge it off. He tries cycloning me, but he can't get it because I'm just line of sighting. Lucio's just sitting on their healer, giving him hell the whole game. I get another stun into clone on this Feral Druid, pretty much off DR to peel for myself. Keep chaining these Cyclones on the Feral Druid. I'll try to get a cheeky hibernate probably on him. I get it before he shifts out of it. The Priest dispels him. I dispel Lucio out of his fear. Keep a Moonfire on the Feral Druid to make sure he doesn't get a re-stealth and into a stun. We're just going to probably, yeah, we have Hibernate just to annoy him here. I may be able to get a full clone on him. He ends up ranging it. I can cop a re-stealth here for a DR stun if I want to, but it looks like I decide to just try to keep us up. The DR stun is not worth it. I use my Innervate, Ironbark, full hots, boosted by my Swiftmend with Sin Ward. Lucio's totally fine. I used my Fleshcraft there to immune some CC, which is really good on my part. We get a stun on the healer with the Cyclone on the Feral Druid. I Moonfire the Feral Druid to keep him in combat so that he can't get a re-stealth to stun us out of stealth with Rake Stun. They're hiding behind the pillar so that it makes it more annoying. It pulls me into them. It looks like the Feral Druid is giving up on trying to kill me and just going on Lucio, which is probably what he should have been doing the whole time. I use my combo points to stun up the Priest there, my bash on the Feral Druid. My plan was to CC both of them with stuns and then clone the Druid, but we did force both of their trinkets there, which is really good. So here I just go for the Cyclone. The Priest ends up Shadow Melding and Fading for my Cyclone, so those two abilities are now out of the way. I use my Flourish here because Lucio is taking a lot of damage. I INS him, get his health a little bit healthier, help him stay alive, get his health up. Here I get stunned into a Cyclone. Nothing I could have done about that. Not a big deal. Lucio's still totally fine. I get another War Stomp clone on the Druid. I think that's my third one at least of the game. I use my Swiftmend to boost my Sim Ward on Lucio just so it's never fallen off. I have another Sim Ward in the bag if I want to use it later. It looks like we are using mana, or we are doing way better on mana than they are, taking advantage of the Resto Druid mana bar. It's extremely strong. It's what's making Resto Druids very meta right now. Their healing throughput and their mana. Here we just Cyclone the Druid off of the Cyclone DR right when it fell off. Lucio got a really good double stun there. Here is a really good thing that I was teaching Lucio as time went on. I love that he did this here. So what happened was I got stunned by the Priest with Chastise, and the Priest was running at me to fear me. But I was calling for Lucio to imprison the Priest to stop him from getting the fear. Lucio does it perfectly. He incaps the healer there. It stops me from getting feared. The Priest uses his Fade to try to run at me. We're getting a lot of pressure on them with Thorns. They're getting Lucio kind of low. But I use my big heals, my NS, my Ironbark, my Sin Ward, my Swiftmend. I dispel the mind games off Lucio, keep him offensive. I jump in to stun the Feral Druid. I get a bash clone on him. Lucio stuns the Priest. The Priest is trying to line of sight me so that I can't do anything to him. I reclone the Feral and go for the Dispel on Lucio, but it looks like his thing breaks, his fear broke. Lucio hunts the Priest, who's at this point, low in health, and takes him out. So this is the way that we're getting wins with Lucio's gear, is we're just going healers a lot of the time while I am crowd controlling the DPS off of him. And we're a lot of the time winning and dampening. So these are some Resto Druid games. There's going to be one more game after this with the Resto Druid. It's going to be over 2.1 MMR maybe. It's one of our games that was almost at the point of him hitting 2100. This game was 2K. This next game is going to be a bit higher, like I said. It's going to be slightly before he actually hits his 2100. So I'll show you guys this next game coming up. Okay, boys, so this game is going to be versus the Windwalker Holy Paladin. Lucio is at about 37,500 health, and we are still cruising. This is a few hours after the last game that I showed you. We are very deep into a long session of us trying to get him to 2100. This is a few games before he actually does manage to get to 2100. But I thought it would be cooler to show you guys this game because the game that he actually got 2100 on was way less eventful and interesting than this one. This is versus a fully geared Holy Paladin Windwalker. It's a tough game. Lucio plays it very well. He has to do a lot of things right. The 38k health Windwalker and the 42k health Holy Paladin that we're going against. They do try to run at me a lot. It's a very hard matchup for us, but we play it very well. Lucio ends up just stunning this Windwalker with no crowd control on the healer. Probably should have imprisoned him. Here, I knew the Windwalker was going to teleport away, so if you stop, go back. I dropped a Vortex. I Vortexed his teleport. We end up forcing the Karma and the sack because of this. get a lot of cooldowns, and that we got the Windwalker's Trinket with Lucio's stun. So here I'm just going to Iron Bark Lucio. He incaps him, thinking that he was popping cooldowns. It's not a good incap because the Windwalker hasn't popped anything just yet. Lucio also Chaos Novas the Windwalker here, only for it to get dispelled instantly, sadly. So just a couple mistakes here in the beginning, but also some good plays. Here, the Windwalker's going to be trying to run at me. They get the Hodge onto me. The Windwalker's popping Serenity with all of his cooldowns. Lucio just fell eruptions him, which helps me out a lot. I War Stomp the Fist of Fury. I'm trying to kite as much as possible. I Innervate, get full hots with Overgrowth, just to try to use as little mana as possible to get all of the hots during their burst. I try to get a Cyclone on the healer. I managed to get it there. Lucio is using Rain from above to try to avoid the Windwalker's damage with his Zwin. So I'm just using my Cyclone on the Windwalker till his cooldowns are over. He still has his Mastery up. He still had his Zwin rolling, but now his cooldowns are falling. Lucio is using his stun on the healer to force some pressure. The healer ends up trinketing that stun. The healer's running at me to Hodge me. I don't really have a way to avoid it. I get myself behind a pillar. Lucio uses his blur. He's kiting around a little bit. Extremely well done by him. Lucio's playing way better than he was in the first few sessions. He has a lot of improvement under his belt at this point. The Paladin ended up bubbling out of CC there. We're keeping the Sin Ward alive with Flourish and the rest of the hots as well. Lucio's just hitting the Windwalker Monk. I'm going for Clone on the Windwalker maybe. He fell eruptions the Monk. Keeps pumping some damage. I'm looking to CC the Paladin. We bash the Paladin into a clone. The Windwalker does not have incap at the moment to try to stop my Cyclone. The Windwalker's running at me. I drop a Vortex on him, and I jump towards the Paladin to kite the Windwalker. I use Fleshcraft in case the Paladin wanted to Hodge me there. He did not do that. The Windwalker's just Fist of Furying me. Paladin does still have Hodge available for me. I pre-bear form it. Lucio Chaos Novas both of them. Insane. Here, I noticed that the Windwalker was popping his Serenity on me, as you can see in his buffs here. So Lucio stunned him, and then the Windwalker wanted to Trinket to try to kill me in the Hodge. But Lucio ends up incapping his Trinket instantly, which is perfect to mitigate the Serenity damage coming in from the Monk. I Cyclone him off of that incap, which is very, very good for us. Now the Windwalker's Serenity's over. He did 0 damage with it. I jumped to Lucio to try to kite away and juke them. After getting the clone on the Paladin to help us get some offensive crowd control to pressure the Windwalker Monk. It looks like the Pally is running low on mana. He's already less than half, which is very good for us. We have full hots on Lucio here. I'm just getting some big heals. I didn't opt in to use the Iron Bark there because Lucio had his blur up already. Lucio's trying to kite here a little bit because the Windwalker has his Weapons of Order up, which I'm telling him the Windwalker's doing some big dam. Here we tried to crowd control the Windwalker until his Zwin and his Mastery buff from his Kyrian Covenant ability goes away. I'm just cycloning him up, trying to mitigate some of his cooldowns, which is the name of the game this game. We are trying to crowd control the Windwalker on his cooldowns. Lucio uses Darkness there. It gets knocked by the Ring of Peace. Lucio gets a really good double stun on the Paladin and the Windwalker. I go for the clone on the Paladin off of that, considering the Paladin was the one who was in the who was needed to be crowd controlled to pressure the Windwalker here in the situation. I get full hodged here. I use my bark skin. I maybe should have trinketed. I'm being a little cheeky at this point. I end up having to trinket that half leg sweep. I Boar Stomp clone the Windwalker after Lucio hunts him to try to stay alive. I really need to catch up in some healing here. Dampening starting to kick in. Kiting the Windwalker around the pillar. I Vortex the Windwalker so that he can't stop me from cycloning his healer, who bopped himself out of the bash. Just getting some extra damage on the Windwalker, considering our mana is so far ahead. I don't feel bad for Moonfire Sunfiring. All the extra damage that we can get is very good for us. Here I Thorns myself and go bear form. I let the Windwalker hit me. He starts Fist of Furying. I try to move myself into the Fist of Fury so that he kills himself with the Thorns. This is about 2150 MMR. This is just to show you guys what can be done. Lucio has been playing World of Warcraft for about a month at this point. He spent most of that time just gearing up. As you guys saw in the first games, he was 30,000 HP, queuing his 2v2 arenas. He had been getting clapped from that moment on with his gear, but 30k was pretty much the bare minimum to try to start playing. He gets some gear as time goes on. He starts getting a lot better. It helps me to help him. We get him to his 2100 CR a few games later. I'm not going to show you the game because it's not a very good game, but I will show you real quick that he does get the 2.1 slightly after this game. So I'll just show you that real quick. Okay, so here is the closing out of our 2100 game that we did get versus a Hpriest BM Hunter team, both fully geared. This is just the end of it. The game was filled with a lot of mistakes from the other team, so I didn't feel that it was a good one to end it on. I'd rather show you guys that Windwalker Holy Paladin team. But here is Lucio's 2100, as you can see in the ratings, 2114 rated. This was a very, very long grind, 6 hours of arena, 3 or 4 different arena sessions, a lot of progression, like I said, for him. He's learned the game so much from the beginning compared to where he was. So again, if you guys are interested in learning to do things like this, you can play with me. A lot of you guys are going to say he got boosted. Sure, I'm a rank 1 healer. Of course, it's going to help him get some rating. But again, at the end of the day, I'm just a Resto Druid. In these last games, I don't do a lot of damage. As you can see, 37k health. Lucio's at 365k, or sorry, 37k damage. I'm not the one doing any of the damage as my Resto Druid. I'm providing utility. I'm teaching Lucio when to crowd control them, when to do his damage, when to use defensives. He's doing all of the offensive pressure for the most part. So, of course, he would be lower rated without me. You guys can say he's boosted in the comments below. But 2100, regardless, boys, he started off at 1600. I couldn't have boosted him to 2100 in the beginning. He definitely had to improve a lot to get to 2100. And if you guys want to learn how to do this, if you guys want to learn how to gain rating quickly, sure, you might not have a rank 1 healer healing you, but you can still definitely climb very quickly by focusing on the right things, like I taught Lucio how to focus on. Using defensives well, using crowd control well, using the rest of your utility well, noticing when the other team is doing certain things, and this and that. So if you're interested in coaching, please, you can come to my stream. The link will be below. Please sub to the YouTube channel. I would appreciate it a lot. Please come say hi to me at my stream. Ask me any questions you want. I do offer coaching. I'll give you a link below to go to for coaching. And again, please come to my stream. That's where I answer any of your questions. You can ask me whatever. You can ask me about coaching. We can play together on my stream. I play with viewers all the time. But anyways, congrats Lucio on his 2.1. I have another friend named Blake who I also helped to get 2.1 on his warrior. Lucio got it on his demon hunter. Blake got it on his warrior. Another person extremely new to WoW. Didn't even have a computer a few months ago. Just started playing. And I can show you guys, go through his 2100 climb as well if you want. Let me know in the comments below. Again, please like and sub to the channel. I appreciate all of you guys. I hope you're having a really good day or night wherever you are in the world. And y'all take it easy. Peace.